Yeah, welcome back to channel. I'm excited to meet you again. Today is the 3 on our series of how to help a slow learner. Okay, if you're meeting me for the first time, my name is Obinna Jex. I'm taking us on a journey on how to help students or learners that are slow learners. This is the day 3. We have talked about who a slow learner is. We have talked about characteristics of a slow learner. We have talked about the people that are most affected by slow learning. Today, we're going to build on it. Okay, so we're going to begin to look at how do I now help a slow learner. I have discovered that this is a slow learner. I've known everything I need to know now. How do I begin to help a slow learner? Remember that I have said that a slow learner is not their fault that they are slow learners. Remember, it is a problem, and every problem has a solution. Now, having said that, the first thing you need to do to help a slow learner is to discover the slow learner's strength. Every child, every learner have a strength, have an academic strength. Okay, some children like learning with pictures, some children like learning, they like writing before reading, some do reading before writing, some have a lot of things that interest them. Now, what you do as a teacher or as a parent is to study this child or study this learner and discover what interests this learner the most as you try to teach them or as you try to help them. What part of the teaching interests them? Is it picture, or is it when you ask them to write, or is it when them to say something or stand or sit or jump? Or you need to be able to make this discovery, because that's the entering point. That's the first thing you need to do in order to be able to make sure that this person is going to receive the help they need to receive academically. Number 2, if you have done that, the next thing you need to do, and very importantly, is that you need to change your approach. If you have been teaching a child or teaching a student or a pupil and the person is not improving, you just need to know that maybe what you're doing is not working. So you need to change your approach. It's only a mad person that does the same thing and expect a different result. You do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. If you have been teaching a child and the child is not improving, and then by your discovery you are now knowing, oh, this child could be a slow learner, all you just need to do at the moment of that discovery is to rethink your approach of teaching, rethink the way you have been given instructions, and be able to see if there are new things you can pick, to make sure that things are done differently. And then before you know it, whatever the next thing you could do could be what will open up the child to start improving. The third thing you do if you want to improve a slow learner is to give it time. You do not force teaching or learning or understanding on a slow learner. If you have discovered, remember, if you have discovered that this particular student or pupil or learner is coming behind others, you need to give this particular learner more attention. You give it time. You don't expect that you don't expect that their catch up will happen immediately. So when you begin the process of helping them, you give it time. You discover them, discover their strength, then you change your approach, then you give time, because you have to give time. If you don't give time, you get more frustrated because you feel like what you're doing is not producing results. So you teach, but then you give time. You allow for a space of time to come into it and help the child to make the necessary changes that they need to make academically, and that will eventually help them. For today, the last thing I'm going to say on how to help a slow learner is that you need to let slow learners know that mistake is allowed. Sometimes teachers speak to pupils and students and their learners in such a way that mistake is one big thing that shouldn't happen. There are mistakes in life, there are academic mistakes. Sometimes you do something, you fail, but encourage them to do it again. If a slow learner is struggling to capture something or to learn something or to retain something, encourage them. Tell them, use yourself as an example. Tell them that there were times too when you were growing up that you were struggling with things. Let them know that what is happening to them is normal. It's normal. It could happen to anybody, but it have a solution. Don't make them begin to feel inferior of themselves. Allow them the space to know that, okay, I'm struggling now, but this is struggling. If I can be consistent with following the process or the procedures or the line of teaching that they are giving to me, I will eventually improve.